Everybody, Operation Smithy here, and welcome back to another episode of 51 Easy. Today's episode is going to be more of a side mission. I don't even have a script prepared for this video. I just have this footage that I'm just going to run through and basically explain the whole premise as we go along. So let's get started. So I did 4 basic emotions here: happy, sad, confused, and angry. So for the happy emotions, I tried to convey more of like a content, sort of held back, sort of stoic position. I tried to use like a fold to sort of represent eyebrows, and that's what we're going to be doing. Use folds to suggest facial, features. So, for instance, like these eyebrows, quote unquote, being raised, or it's just this fold here. That can be used to not only express happiness, but also like shock or or even surprise, or it can even be part of a confused, emotion, just depending on what the situation is. I think for the second thumbnail here, I largely restarted on it, but for the second one here, I just started a similar pose here, but he's just like leaning in a different direction. I'm trying to lean him in the opposite direction, but it didn't really look that natural, just with him having that big belly. So I just had him kind of lean, just on his stomach, just like the first drawing. Again, I'm just going for a very simple design. There's not a whole lot that goes into drawing flower sacks, and I can't really go into a whole lot of detail. So there's probably just going to be a little silent bits here and there. But this last one, I tried to experiment with him more like falling. I do a similar thing with the sad drawings as well. I didn't really draw the eyebrows on him. He just sort of, he's just sort of, falling or jumping more so. That's my attempt at the happy flower sack. And now we're going to move on over to the thumbnails here. We're going to go a little more in depth right here, where I'm basically going to spoil the whole rest of the video for y'all. We're just going to use these sort of folds, these sort of like top folds there on his face face, quote unquote, to emulate human emotion. But again, we're not going to explicitly show facial emotions, and this will allow you to be more creative with your designs generally, just experimenting with how these different lines can be combined, and different shapes can be combined into unique expressions. But yeah, that's basically the first frame that I drew there. I'm just doing shadows now, just to kind of give a better impression of the folds. And that's what we're really trying to do. We're trying to take advantage of folds and wrinkles, but also like the top and bottom half of that design to emulate body language in a weird way. And again, like in most animation throughout history, we basically apply human emotion and human interaction with different toys, with different animals, etc. It is good to keep in mind whenever doing animation in the future, because as I said in the last video, shape largely affects impact, but it also affects emotion as well, and that's what this video is sort of exploring here. The squish and squash techniques are, I think, not only good for slapstick humor, but also just showing emotion generally in more varied ways, and we've experimented with these techniques throughout history. And this isn't something that we just do in animation, but we do this in art generally. So we're just going to continue with this redrawing of the sack here. Yeah, so I was trying to get it to lean here, but I think I made it stand on one foot or something. Okay, yeah, no, I made it look like it was falling. Okay, I thought it was like standing on one foot, but I skipped ahead further. Yeah, so basically it just turned from like a sack that was like leaning against the wall to just it falling. So that's fun. And then up next here, I have a drawing. Let's see. I just have a drawing of a sack laying down. It's kind of similar to how I drew it, in the last episode, but I just drew it with a little sad expression as usual. I think this next one I just kind of did its face. I tried to do do a more detailed drawing. Kind of looks like a person's back almost. Oh, and then I was just kind of showing, like, you know, the directional angles I was talking about a second ago. And I just kind of did one more where it's like more so like leaning down or kind of laying down away. Yeah, so that's pretty much the sad sack for y'all. Kind of just did some shading here and there. And then up next should be, yeah, confused. Alright. So this is the one where I did where like one eyebrow, quote unquote eyebrow, is raised and one is shortened. I kind of used a little bag line to kind of represent teeth in a weird way. I think it worked out relatively well. It kind of looks like a dog in a way, but that's all right. Generally, the purpose of the flower sack outside of animation is also character design. I think I might tackle that in the next side mission, but I want to do a full episode first before I do that. So here I kind of did this similarly to the sad sack, but it's not laying on the ground. It just sort of has its head tilted, and then I'm just experimenting with like how the folds can, you know, work themselves out. Try to give it a little belly too. And then for this last one, I kind of just did him like kind of turning, or sort of like twisting his back to like look behind him. I like the confused one a lot. I think these are the most expressive out of the bunch. For this last one, I did the angry sack. I overcomplicated this one a little bit, and those look more like dog ears and less like devil horns. But for this one, I tried to show more involvement than the last few of them, and like kind of like I tried to make these ones more energetic in a way. Similarly, like how I did with the happy ones, but this one's more aggressive. There's, you know, purpose. This one, he's just kind of like, you know, he's kind of ranting, he's kind of raving. I think I don't know if I mentioned this. No, I haven't. So with the emotions, I tried to, or like with the ends, or with like the little ties at the ends right there. On the top ones, I tried to emulate more so like arms, and then the bottom ones I tried to emulate more to be like. And you can either use them as ears, or you can use them as arms. It just depends on like what gesture you're going for. And then for this last bit, I think I drew another sack. Yeah, I drew another sack here. I think this is just more of like a neutral. Yeah, I think that's just supposed to be more of a face than a full one. I kind of drew some facial lines just to kind of, you know, get a better feel for the faces. That was basically it. We basically just messed around with some design principles, and we explored, you know, how we can express different emotions, and, you know, how much energy can be put into said emotions, and how you know, the sharpness of those lines and those angles, you know, kind of express different emotions and different energy and stuff like that. So it was a fun experiment, and I'm looking forward to do another one of these and another episode of 51 Easy. This is your host, Operation Smithy, signing off.